morning, everybody. Happy Capital Preservation Friday. Welcome to Place Your Trades Network with Miss Penny Lane Blaine and myself, Matt Paxkenna. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. I'm not good at reading this, but I'm going to get it done anyway. Good morning, everybody. I'm Pax, obviously. Welcome to Place Your Trades Network. We are the network that focuses on trading daily options using CME Group event contracts to trade E-mini, S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell 2000, gold, silver, euro, crude, natty gas, and copper. Today we have a great show for you. We really do. I always enjoy talking with Blaine. Today we have a great show for you. Today's intermediate trader, and somehow I became the old, what do you call it, elder statesman trader. I don't like that. I still feel like I'm 30. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Tradevate. Tradevate has built a custom app dedicated to trading CME event contracts. We're all using Tradevate's custom app in order to be able to trade these event contracts. The event contracts are fun. Welcome back, Blaine. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? It looks like I'm coming to you from like nighttime, right? It's like so dark around here that the time change I am still not adjusted to at all. And I just came from a week of skiing out west into being in Austin into a time change. So I am like out of it, time-wise.
We were both gone skiing in Colorado the same week. I was with my son. You were with your family. You were in Steamboat. I was in Breck. I'll tell you what, though, and I skied with my son and his buddies, 23-year-old snowboarders, and I went at it. I was charging pretty hard all week because I wanted to keep up with these young guys. We got home Friday night. We went out with a bunch of our friends. I got home Thursday, went to bed at around midnight. We got up with a bunch of our friends, went out Friday for St. Patrick's Day party, and which I didn't really want to do, but it's a night that I look forward to every year. And I mean, it took me until Tuesday or Wednesday to kind of this week to come down from the mountain, just adjusting back to normal altitude, or normal for me, and also adjusting to the time change. It threw me for a real loop. And then you were gone at South by Southwest. Tell me a little bit about that.
I was. So my friend from high school, who I've known since I was like 12 years old, did a documentary, and it's actually like such a fun story. So he is a documentary filmmaker, lives in LA, and during the pandemic came home to live with his mom, which, so many people did. And I was in my car leaving my mom's house, and they're like neighbors basically. And he was on a run on their street. And I stopped and was like, hey, hi, how are you? And we got in a conversation, and he said, well, what have you been doing during the pandemic? And I was like, well, funny enough, I've been doing some day trading, and I have a podcast about the stock market. And he was like, oh, I've not only also been doing some day trading, but I'm making a documentary about day traders. Can I interview you? Obviously, I was thrilled to do that. And that project, we've been working on it since 2020, did become a documentary about the AMC GME squeeze and kind of what happens when there's a mob mentality in the market, which is an interesting topic. Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of very famous people in the film, like the Wolf of Wall Street, for example, and the head of Wall Street Bets, and Anthony Scaramucci. And I got to go to the film premiere and do the Q&A and be on a panel. And it was really sort of a once in a lifetime thing. It was very cool.
Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just the first one in a long stream of really cool things that are going to happen to you. You have and I think this comes out in your tweets, you have a really artful quality, a real vulnerable and honest approach to your trading, which means you have that artsy, vulnerable, honest approach to life. When you have those sorts of qualities, in my opinion, when you have those sorts of qualities and you are that person, life will be difficult. Trading will be difficult. We'll have some high highs and low lows. Really good things happen to people that have that sort of character. Like attracts like. And I'm very proud of you, and I'm very proud to know you. I'm very proud to be a part of your journey as a trader. And I can't wait to see how this continues, not only your trading and your P&L and everything that you talk about on a daily basis, to see how that continues to evolve and mature, but to see how you continue to evolve and mature as a woman and as a mom and as an artist. And all of these things make you the artist that you are. And I really am. I'm humbled and proud to be part of your journey with you, Blaine. So thank you for allowing me in, and thank you for trusting me. And I truly am. Part of that, the highs and lows of all that is mature, the highs and lows that I experience, that you experience, learning how to level those out, I think, is what, without losing that artistic quality, is I think what they mean when they say maturity, maturing as a trader, maturing as a person. I think it's really important to recognize that, we're going to continue to make mistakes. Said this yesterday when we were talking, we're going to continue to have those bad days. They're going to happen, but hopefully they become less and less severe, less and less bad. They become less severe, and they become more stretched out as time goes, instead of happening after like a big run, like you talked about before with Apple. You traded Apple so well, and then you got crushed.
Mm-hmm.
Those become, instead of after an event like that, or instead of after every month or something, just to readjust yourself and bring it back down to earth, you get whacked, and then you feel really crappy about yourself. We get that to be once every few months, and it becomes less and less severe. Again, I'm talking too much, but that segues into, I think, the topic that I wanted to talk about is how to protect ourselves, capital preservation, how to protect ourselves. When I get back from a vacation and I get back from time off, I normally, historically in my career, will not trade well. I'll get whacked. I'm too confident, too carefree, fearless, and focused. I'm too whatever. I just feel too comfortable. And so I'll get whacked a little bit and then start to trade well. I've learned how to avoid those situations in my career. Or buying a car or a house. I heard traders say this many times when I was a young guy on the floor. If you buy a car, I bought my first Chevy Suburban. I'll never forget that. And I promptly had my first like $40,000 loss. It was right after I spent 40-something grand on this truck. And I ended up getting killed, and somebody sat me down and explained, when you make a big purchase, you get back from vacation, take it easy, slide in. Don't rush. How have you found your reentry back from basically 2 weeks off?
Well, it has been good and sort of strange. Like, I have not taken a day off of trading or working in over 3 years, or 2.5 years. Like, I work every single day from the moment I wake up until the time I go to bed. And I still, I do things with my kids, but I'm always like thinking and working on projects, and I'm just in a constant work mode. Sorry, my big dog really wants to get in my lap. And I was at dinner with my husband last night and talked about how I took so much time off that I feel like I got to look at my life from 30,000 feet, and really look at it and look at all the different parts and try to decide really what I want out of life. I'm just always so deep in it. It's just, I'm keep moving forward. Today, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to trade, I'm going to work, I'm going to be a mom, I'm going to like just go, go, go. And the time away just made me reassess all of that. And I'm going through a weird time of like, how important do I really want trading to be in my life? And what kind of role do I want it to play? And I've said since I started trading that it is in the priorities in my life. It's in the top 5. I love, it's really kind of right below like my family. Trading is a massive, massive priority to me. And being a trader is such a part of who I am.
Why is that, do you think? What about trading resonates with you so deeply?
So on the panel, when we were talking, this guy came up and asked me, everyone on the panel, but directed it at me and said, being a trader is the most selfish thing you can do. And how selfish are you personally that you would do this with your life? And I took a second and was like, it's a hard question to be asked in front of a room full of people. And my answer was that I believe in my soul that trading is truly like the in life physical representation of the American dream. And it doesn't matter what age you are, what race you are, what sex you are, your, where you went to college, what your parents did. It is every man for himself, a battle against himself. Nobody really has an advantage. You are in there, and what you do in the market represents how hard you are trying, how disciplined you are, how much you are working. And I think that there is something so beautiful about that to me. And I don't want my life's work to be, or my success, I guess, to be because of anybody else. I want to build something for me that I have done that I didn't get any help with. And that is just paramount in my life of something that I want to do. And trading is that it is just vitally important to who I am and who I want to be.
That's a great answer. It's really thought-provoking. The response the guy on the panel had for you that trading is inherently selfish, I think, is wrong. I find trading to be the opposite of that. I think it's life-giving. I think it's, giving. At least in my career, I need to be giving. I wound up tweeting my trades out and ended up developing a big following because of that, because to me, trading is the ultimate in using the sensitive nature of my soul, the creative part of who I am, back to your artistic nature. And I'm creating wealth. The trading floor was the greatest place in the world. There was no other place in the entire country or anywhere in the world where guys like me, men and women like us, just normal run-of-the-mill people without money, without connections, without clout, could actually really, like you were saying, the last bastion of capitalism, to really become something, whatever that something is. And we define that as we continue to grow and mature as a trader, and it continues to evolve. And I think trading on the screens offers us the same basic function, offers us the same basic look into capitalism and into the world, as long as we continue to evolve and change with this business in the way that it continues to change. Zero DTE options is something, event contracts, something. These are things that we have to pay attention to, because these things are not changing the business, but they're evolving with the business. So if I'm inherently selfish in my mind, then I'll have blinders on and I'll be stuck in my ways. I won't be willing to look at things outside of me, and things won't continue to evolve. If I'm not using the artistic nature of my soul, if I'm not trying to sense, and seeing patterns, I see patterns in the market kind of naturally, and then I have to apply the process that I developed to the markets and the framework around that to be able to define the opportunities that I want to take advantage of. Because remember, every price change is an opportunity to make money. Is it an opportunity I want to take advantage of? No. I've got a process to be able to be creative in, and I need to be able to sense and feel when the market is turning and changing according to the framework of that process that the process develops around it. And then preserving that capital, banking that capital, and moving forward with that capital as the business continues to evolve. Capital in all of its forms: spiritual capital, emotional capital, physical capital, and financial capital. I will not, and this is again the selfish part, I will not be able to bank financial capital if I am not taking care of my spiritual and emotional and physical capital, if I am not taking care of my mind, my body, and my spirit. And that then, of course, is naturally life-giving, is naturally nurturing for me, and helping me to nurture others in that journey, is what is ultimately meaningful to me. I don't know, maybe just a different perspective, I guess, that I have. When I do feel like I'm alone, when I do feel like I'm doing things on my own, I don't normally wind up trading well, not in the end.
The way I finished answering that question was, of all the traders, hundreds of traders that I've interviewed and talked to and asked them why they started trading, not one person has ever said anything selfish. The answer resoundingly is to make my life and my family's life a little bit better.
And anybody that's willing to do that is worthy of my respect. I don't bash anybody. I'm not going to bash anybody, because if you are willing to bet on yourself and to continually work on being the best version of yourself in that framework, and you're worthy of my respect and admiration, and that's what I think is so beautiful about trading. I really do think that that's what's so beautiful about what we're doing here and what we're doing together with one another,
For sure. Absolutely.
That's why I enjoy our conversations, because we're coming at it from different experiences, and we're different people with different life experiences, different ages and things like that, but we wind up in the same spot. So how can we continue to help one another become better, to do better, to be better, as my mother used to say. My mom had a lot of sayings that apparently I use a lot, but do better, be better. She said that all the time.
I love that. So what's going on in the market today, Pax?
Well, the last few weeks are my least favorite time period to trade, rollover. I used to take the 2 weeks of rollover off. When there's, like in December, the roll in December was really, really very tradable and very good trade. But this is not, and this week has not been so bad. But this is not my favorite time period to trade. The market has volatility, seemingly out of nowhere. It stops seemingly out of nowhere. Things just kind of pop off and kick off. And then, of course, everybody comes up with a narrative as to why it's all happening. It's happening because we've got expiration today. It's happening because we've got, we're rolling the open interest in futures from March into June. And so I don't like trading that period. My favorite time period is going to be next week after expiration comes out, either later this afternoon. Expiration prices are not found on charts. You're not going to be able to find them on a chart. It's not the last traded price or the close of the day. It's where the CME settles out the contracts. That then leads into next week and the beginning of the second quarter, which is going to continue to evolve. So come Monday, or come Sunday night when I'm doing my homework preparing for the week after expiration, I'm going to have a clear picture as to what the market, not what I think the market will do, but what the market will in fact do based upon expiration today. So I'm looking forward to getting this day out of the way. I don't see myself being very active. I do like the event contracts for days where I don't see myself being very active, because I can stay out of the fray and I can start to trade a little bit from like you said earlier, a 30,000. I feel like sometimes taking a 30,000 foot view. One of the prices that I talk about as a macro level that won't change is 30 in the S&P is 39.74. It looks like we're going to open at or around this 39.74 area. So once the market opens, if we open above it, then I'm going to take the yeses, the 4,000 yeses. I will take the yeses for 40 even. Above 39.74, we will go to 40 even. I will take the nose underneath 39.5, both for $6. So 39.5 the nose and the yeses of 4,000, and I'll trade out of the bad leg once the market opens and I have an idea as to direction. This is not going to be my favorite time to trade. The only thing that matters today for the rest of the day is where the CME group settles out the indices, what the price will be, and then I can do my technical work for the entire quarter next year or next quarter. So I think that the yeses above 4,000 is where the market is going to try to go as long as we're above 39.74.
What's going on with gold?
Let's talk about the NASDAQ first, and then
yes, let's do that.
So the S&P, this has been very interesting. The S&P has been working around the 200-day moving average now. I'm not a big moving average trader, but I do pay attention to the wider ones, the bigger ones. The 200-day moving average in the S&P is 39.48, and the S&P has been battling above it, battling below it, while we're stuck in this range the last week or week and a half. The NASDAQ 200-day moving average is 11,936 or 11,940. The NASDAQ is solidly above it. The NASDAQ is going to have a very, very hard time getting up and moving beyond this area. The NASDAQ has been stronger, and I think that the S&P is going to have some more strength. If we get above 39.74, I think the S&P is the one that's more likely to move. I think the NASDAQ has a lot of work to get through the level that they're at now. 12,800 is a really, really big level. 12,800 equals like 4180, at least they should. But the NASDAQ is so much stronger. So I thought that was worth a mention. So I don't know. I don't want to take anything in NASDAQ because I think NASDAQ is going to sit today. I don't think NASDAQ is going to get up and run. Its running has gone. Now the S&P is going to try to play catch up, I think, for the day. Gold, people talk about for the majority of my career, I had always heard that gold is a hedge against inflation. Gold is no longer a hedge against inflation. Gold is a hedge against the Fed losing control of monetary policy, as my macro mentor Ira Harris says all the time. So gold has been getting up and running now for the last, since, I don't know, I'd have to look at a chart a month. It's been maintaining strength and running, but as this banking crisis has deepened, or the banking stumbling, whatever the hell you want to call it, the last week and a half, 2 weeks, as bank stocks started to get whacked, you started to see gold starting to continue another leg up. What was the high of this entire move? And gold was on an active daily continuation, 1975, going back to early March, or going back to early Feb, right here. I would take the yeses on gold. Let's see, what would the strike be? I'll take the 1975 yeses on gold.
$2.50.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
why I would take them, because they're cheap.
Yep.
And if gold is going to continue to rally, it's going to try to extend above that 1975 high from early March. Going into expiration Friday, I'd like to see gold expand and touch off whatever stops are going to be above 1975 and continue to run up to 2000, and maybe even take the just for a very, very cheap trade, take the 2000 yeses for 75 cents. So you got the 1975 yeses for $2.50, and then the 2000 yeses. It's a long shot trade, but it's worth it. I think you can spend a few dollars to make a bunch more.
Absolutely.
Another reason why I love event contracts, I talk about in my own trading, I talk about paying for my trade. Every trade that I make, I pay for my trade. So I'm buying my trade. I remove my risk. I bought my trade. Now I can stay out of the way of the market, let the market do the work. That's what these event contracts help us do. Once I spend the $2.50, of course, I'll buy more when I do. But once I can't lose any more than that. I bought my trade. I have no risk. I spent that premium, and that's it. Now let's stay out of the way of the market. Let the market do the work.
I also think sometimes it might be a little bit confusing about I want to spend more than $2.50. Well, of course you can. You can buy as many as you want.
Right.
The payout is still $55 to make $440. And I don't know. That's an incredible return.
Sure it is.
Yep.
Sure it is. And it keeps me involved in the market without having to put anything on to over risk, over leverage. So if I spend if I spend $100 on those 250, I'm going to make upwards to around $1,000.
And you can scale out at any time, right? Like you were saying, pay for your trade. You can take profit. You don't have to wait until the market settles. And
that's what I'll do. By the way, that's what I'll do on the other side of the S&P. Taking those yeses at 4,000 and taking the nos at 39.5. When the market opens in another few minutes, I'll have an idea as to what I'm going to do on the other side, on the bad leg.
For sure.
Let's take a look at crude real quick. Crude has been a great trade, and that's worth a mention too. Crude has been a great trade. It's been a great opening range trade. Now, today, the opening range in crude, let me take a quick look. The opening range in crude is 67.71 to 67.94. Okay, so 67.71 to 67.94. We're above today's opening range. So I want to be long crude as close to the opening range as possible. Oh, wait, what do you have as a strike in crude?
It's 68.
Why is mine delayed? Anyway, so as long as we're above 67.94, which we're not really, I want to see the yeses of 69.5. 69.40 is a big level. And if we get above 69.40, then the market can run. So I would take those for $5 for sure. If we get below the opening range in crude, then I want to be short. And we'll see that. We'll see a test of the low, the weekly low of 65. What was it? 65.25 or 65.30, someplace in there. But crude has been a great trade. We've got a lot of back and forth in it and big ranges. It's been a very, very tradable market. It's something that I've been paying a lot closer attention to, especially during rollover. I don't have to trade S&P every day if I'm not confident, carefree, fearless, and focused in it. I can trade crude. I can trade gold. I've traded bonds in 10-year the last couple of days, and I've traded those pretty well too. I think the yes is above, as long as we're above the opening range. I think the market can rally another $1.50, and for $5 would give us a pretty pretty cheap yes.
All right. Well, those are some great picks, Pax. Have a great trading day. The market's about to open, and happy Capital Preservation Friday.
Happy Capital Preservation Friday, and have a great St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and may God bless you and your family and everybody you love.